finally, the much anticipated princess seam is here. We're going to describe to you. It's very, very easy. I'm going to show you both the classic princess seam, which comes from the mid shoulder, and then we're going to I'm going to show you what is called the armhole princess seam, the one that comes from the 1 inch above the mid armhole. Although your princess seam can come from anywhere, it can come from your mid neckline, it can come from your neckline, it can come from, yes, it can come from anywhere above your bust point. Your princess seam can originate from anywhere above your bust point. It can even come from your center front. You can create princess lines anyhow. But I'm just going to show you the basic principle of creating the princess seam. It's not a dart, because you don't hold it as a dart. You integrate your seam, your dart into your seam. So that's why they're called princess seams and not princess darts. So what you do is you find the midpoint of your shoulder, or wherever it is that you want to start above your bust point, that you want to start your originate your princess line from. And so I connect this line to the bust point. That's the first step. What I do next is that I find a place 1 inch above and 1 inch on the waistline, below the waistline, 1 inch below. Then I use my curve and connect the points. You can see that I did not pass directly on the bust point, right? So that when you're holding your seams, you're not going to have a pointed area. So you avoid going through the bust point. So I've just connected the top. I've just connected 1 inch above, 1 inch below with my curve. And here I connect it the same way. I mark my notches to mark exactly where my bust point is. And now my princess seam is done. So what I do, don't forget, this is my center front. You can decide to do whatever it is with the neckline. You can decide to lower the neckline. You can decide to make it a V shape or whatever. So you cut it out. And add your seam allowances. You can see that how easy it is to do the princess seam. Please note that this is not a bustier or anything. I'm just showing you the princess seam. We'll treat the bustier in the intermediate course. You might also get a chance to do the corset, but let's see how it goes. I don't know whether I'll put the corset in the intermediate course or in the advanced course. your curves will the curves will differ. This bust curves will differ depending on the size of your bust. So there, now we have our two pieces for our princess seam. That's our bust point. So these two places must meet when you are sewing your princess seam. So you see that was really easy, right? So I'm going to show you the princess seam from the armhole, which is one of the most common ones that you see around. Okay, so to create the princess seam from the armhole, you find a place 1 inch above the mid armhole, there, and then draw to your bust point. So just 1 inch. It can go up, it can go 2 inches, it can go 3 inches. As I told you, that your starting point for your seam can be from any point above your bust point. So we have this, and as we did before, you find 1 inch at the top and 1 inch at the bottom, right? And then you draw your curves. You connect these two 1 inch lines. You see that these lines don't pass, depending on the size of your bust. These lines move in, they don't cross directly on top of your bust. So you mark where the bust point is, the intersecting point, so that when you cut off, please, when you cut it off, don't forget to add your seam lines, your seam allowance, to sew them back together. So what I do for good measure, okay, so you'll know that anyhow you do it, these lines they will definitely intersect. Sorry, they will definitely be together. You won't have any line longer than the other. You don't have to add anything extra. So this now is what is called the armhole princess seam. I can decide that I also want my seam, my princess seam, to start from here. The same thing, you draw a line connecting it there, mark 1 inch up, 1 inch down, and then draw your curve. It is that simple. So now this is our armhole princess seam. Very easy to cut. I'm sure you've noticed that everything. Basically, pattern drafting is pretty easy as long as you understand the basic principles. And now that you understand the basic principle of dart manipulation, that's moving darts from one point to another, and every other thing will be really, really easy for you. So we have our armhole princess, and then we have the classic. We have the classic princess seam. And then you can do your princess seams anyhow you want to do them. You can decide. Just remember that you can start your princess seams can originate from anywhere as long as they pass through your princess line, right? So you can do from your mid neck as long as they still go through your bust point, and then you still have that bust curve. Yes, so we're done for the things on the bodies. We're done for the bodies block for this basic pattern drafting course, and we're going on to drafting the basic sleeve.